Okay, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about polynomials, and I'm going to have a three-part series on polynomials, starting with an introduction to it, talking about coefficients, degrees, and I'm going to talk about on my other videos, add and subtracting polynomials as well as multiplying them. Well, first what I want to talk about is terms, coefficients, and degrees, and what that means. So I've got a couple examples. I'm going to explain how to look at the terms and the coefficients. So in the first example, I've got x squared minus 12x plus 35. Now, as far as your terms are concerned, your terms are separated by either addition or subtraction symbols. So in this case, I've got one term, two term, three terms. So I'm going to put the terms x squared minus 12x and a positive 35. And the coefficient are any numbers or integers. Integers meaning they could be positive or negative that's in front of each of the terms. So let's look at the x squared. There's no number in front of the x squared, so that's an understood 1. The number in front of the x is a negative 12. And the 35 is standalone, so we're going to say it's 35. Now let's take a look at the next one. 4m to the 5th power minus 75m to the 3rd plus 6m minus 1. So if you want to, you can pause this video and see what you come up with, and you can check it with my explanation. So here we go. How many terms are there? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to label them. 4m to the 5th, negative 7m to the 3rd, 6m, and a negative 1. So the coefficients are the numbers that are in front. So the first one would be 4, the second one would be a negative 7, the third one would be 6, and the last one would be negative 1. Next, degrees. The degrees tells us the highest power of the polynomial. So when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at exponents for the degrees, the highest exponent. So I see a 5, a 3, and there's right here, that's an understood 1. Now, the 5 right here is my highest exponent, so that's going to be my degree. So let's take a look at my fourth example. Now, in math, we like to write your polynomials in the order of the highest exponent to the lowest exponent. So I'm going to rewrite this as negative 4n to the 7th plus 8n to the 5th plus 8n to the 3rd minus 4. Now, what is my highest exponent? The 7. They will try to trick you on this because you're going to look and assume that it's the first exponent, but it's not necessarily in the right order. Now, you could have a problem where it's given negative 10, x to the 5th, y to the 4th, and then there's... So in this case, what I want to do is I want to look at, first of all, we're going to talk about the degree, terms, and coefficient. So first of all, let's do the coefficient first. The coefficient is the number in front, which in this case is a negative 10. Terms remember, are separated by addition or subtraction symbols. And in this case, we don't have any. So the terms is 1. The whole term is the problem. Now the degree is different. Before the degrees, all of your variables in the third example and the fourth example had the same variable or the same x. For the third one and the fourth one had the same n. This one we have different variables. So with the different variables, what we're going to do is we're going to add the numbers together for the exponents. So x has 5, y has 4. Now another common mistake is that's the answer is 9. No, because z has an understood 1. So you hit the plus 1. Now in this one, what I'm asking is I'm going to ask you how many terms and the degree of each term. Now, how many terms do we have? Well, we got one term right here, 2, 3, we've got 4 terms. Now the degree on each term I'm going to put in green. So let's take a look at the first term. You got a 2, and then you got that understood 1. So the answer is 3. My next one, there's no exponent, so we're going to say this is 0. My third term, I'm going to take the x to the third, y to the fourth. I'm going to add the exponents, 3 plus 4. You get 7. And finally, the last one just has one exponent, and it is a 4. Now, you can be asked, I'm going to use a very basic one, what happens when x is 0? Well, all you have to do is put in 0 in for x. Zero squared is 0, minus 2 times 0 is 0, minus 1 is a negative 1. Part B, you just put 2 in and square it. Minus 2 times 2 minus 1 equals so 2 times 2 is 4, minus 2 times 2, which is 4, minus 1. 4 minus 4 cancel each other out, and you're also left with a negative 1. Another thing with polynomials they could ask you is write with the missing terms. So now I'm looking at this. Now this one is in order. You got the 5, 3, this right here is an understood 1, and then you got the 0, which is 15. So now what we want to do is write with the missing terms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 7m5. Now there should be a 4, an exponent 4. So I'm going to put 0, and then I'm going to say m4. Now I've got my third. I don't have my square, so I'm going to put plus 0 m squared minus 7m plus 15. Now finally, this is a question that can arise on any one of your homework, especially if you have the computer homeworks, is tell me if it is a polynomial or not a polynomial. So we've gone over several examples of polynomials. So I'm going to put for poly, you may have x squared minus 2x plus 1. Remember, they're separated by terms. You could have negative 10 x to the third y squared z. You may just have something like 4m squared. So all these are polynomials. The ones that are not polynomials could have a square root in it. Or you have your variable that is a fraction, so you may have something like this right here. And finally, what they will show you is you may have something like 4x to the negative 3. You cannot have a negative exponent. I hope this helps with the introduction to polynomials. Be looking out for my next video with adding and subtracting polynomials. Thank you for listening.